Hi folks, it's Trey. Tonight I've been thinking along the lines as I have before about the psychological part of the war again. And I was looking at my analytics on my YouTube creator page. And it said you have 91% less views than last month. I'm thinking, why is that? And I've looked at it before, of course, and ever since I made a video called "Is Yahweh a Narcissistic Predator Entity?" I've gotten only when I sent a long email to Jordan Peterson after he invited me to. That video got 15 views. The rest of them got basically less than 10. And I have to wonder, was I building my audience? And again, a lot of my other videos before that, to be totally honest, got less than 10 too, or 10, 12 views. And my music got very little. But lately it's been down to 0, 1. So does that really mean that I'm so boring or full of hubris or lacking information that I only have one student after all that time? Or is this the phenomenon called shadow banning? And thinking about this more from a perspective of compassion, say because the president is a Jewish woman, and there's been look what happened to Kanye West. He lost a $1 billion job because he talks shit, I don't know, about the Hollywood. Well, when YouTube is cool with this guy making, doing eating, going from being a handsome little vegan kid to doing eating contests till he does himself in with 6 million followers, and and they're okay with showing a sexual reassignment surgery on the YouTube. But because I question the God of their, if they're Orthodox or even if they're in this just in the scientism cult, if I question the AI cults, I question their God so much. Think about all the times they gave me freedom of speech and let me say all the things I needed to say. But this is the way the deceiver attempts to work from within, behind the scenes, like the little Wizard of Oz that's gotten paranoid. Well, the thing that occurred to me tonight in my sense of compassion was, wow, maybe I hit a raw nerve there. I mean, maybe my Mercury in Capricorn retrograde and my Mars in Leo retrograde, that title of that video, you see, perhaps YouTube as a corporation felt that having 339 people watch that video with that title, somehow I was a threat. I was threatening. But they couldn't say it out loud. They got to pretend to be an open source and free, right? Freedom of speech. And I respect them for that on the surface level. I do not respect it if and when I have been or am being shadow banned. Now, that being said, as I said before, my other previous videos seem to be hit or miss, which also makes you wonder if it began before that, because like I said, I had my second or third, fourth video was called A Heap of Comments Disappeared, or A Heap of Comments Made in Faith Deleted, because I noticed that when I was full of the Gnostic spirit of the Christos, writing comments on these videos, it was a Christian healer woman in Florida when I was staying in South Carolina, and it was deleted. I don't know, they could have deleted it, but it turns out as I've run my own show here, I can go down, and I should do that more often and see the comments that YouTube never let anyone see on my videos. That would probably be a lot more informative. But they claim, that it's, that there's no way to trick the algorithm, and it's just what people want to search. However, I know it must have been some of the videos I've made since that one were worthy of 50 views, or 30 views. My theory is that I would have a steady audience of 20, 30, 40 views if I hadn't made that video that they thought was racist. It was a question, though. I was trying to start a question. And what I'm saying is imagine if you were a Jewish person and think about all the neurotic behavior you've seen in this race. And this kid, a dependent on it in a tent with a high IQ, studies wisdom and the truth, is going to come out and make this title, a white boy, English Irish white boy in the mountains 2 hours down the road, 3 hours down the road. He doesn't deserve an audience. I mean, he struck a raw nerve, What if it's true? I mean, what if our God is this really neurotic spirit that's parasitical because it terrifies us, the angry father that forces us to obey it through, reincarnation or through, our obedience to our bloodlines. If you look in the Old Testament, there's parts of it I wouldn't even attempt to read. There were just simply long lists of names. I actually took the Old Testament in college, by the way, and I thought some of it was beautiful. Of course, I'm not a rabbi. I only took a semester of college at Brevard College in Transylvania County, North Carolina. And the teacher's name was Preston Woodruff, and he had actually been to Israel. Perhaps he was Jewish, and he was so passionate about it that he would play acoustic guitar sometimes, and we'd chant and sing in the classes sometimes. And there was an optional teacher-student holiday one day, and we sang, or we went around. He went around the room, and we did this. Not the Song of Songs. I think it might have been that one, or the. I'll think of it later. The Gospel of Mary. It was the Song of Psalms. Anyway, it was a love triangle. The Book of Ruth, right? The Book of Ruth. And it's a love, interestingly enough, because my name is Trey, and I talk about the truth, right? So it's a love triangle. It's a love triangle in the Old Testament, right? So I kind of have this love triangle with YouTube. I love YouTube, and it loves me. But the shadow beings, they see that I want to expose them in the real light. It's not the inverted fake light. And when, they're okay with letting Laura Eisenhower do it with, 10,000 people watching her, because they're literally going to try to drug her and beat her up when she comes to California. Whereas with me, it's like, because I'm going to pull out this knife and shove it in them if they try to come in here. And I'm in a uglier man frame, with no no audience. Perhaps the YouTube is trying to protect me from the dark, but I'm not afraid, simply because I, like when this PG&E truck guy said in the police report he ran me over, I know my guardian angel saved me, and this is why. And so if YouTube wants to bullshit me, then, and hide the numbers, or hide my, or not send my, all my videos to my 46 subscribers, then, you know what? I'm just going to do tease videos like all these other people, and do long interviews on Odyssey with people and myself. Got the $11 Mendo. It was a good deal, but no, it might have been the nug I bummed off my friend last year's, or getting a little I usually don't smoke the stuff that's going brown, but anyway, so I'm so blessed, and you got to understand that I know I've been targeted my whole life, but I'm only one out of only hundreds of thousands of people that came here for this mission. So when I write comments on Laura Eisenhower's post and they're disappeared. Now, what happened once is her conversation with Sean Stone, which they deleted immediately after it went live, and I had put a comment on there, and YouTube sent me an email that said, Laura Eisenhower loved your comment, and then they deleted the video. So this is another example. I love YouTube, but they have so much corporate interest, and I'm sure the dark side, the secret agent guys are in there, and it's like, well, Journey to Truth podcast, that's two Jewish guys, so it's okay. They're both paying, or the one's paying his mortgage. He was abducted in the night by an alien, violently. But they're the first, you're younger than me, they're handsomer too, but they're the first guys to have the courage to do this on a grand scale and make it a weekly show, very professional. Here I am, a wild person in the tent. Okay, but I've learned so much from them and from Laura Eisenhower, but I've also noticed that all of them have had these infiltrators around them, and that the so-called disclosure movement is full of this narcissistic predator entity as well. The force of the Dracos or blacks, or the shadow side of the Anunnaki, and so that's where the Yahweh video hits the raw chord, right? Because the Jewish people have come. Lisa Renee, or actually it was Ashiana Dean, says they were given the fire letters, which is some of the sacred keys, like for example, the Star of David. If you take away the racism and the horrible sexual side of it, let's just say, if you take away the disrespectful sides and the racism and classism in the Talmud, we have a very beautiful, complex mandala almost system. I don't even know very much about it, but I just know that it's very inward oriented, and being inward oriented, maybe it's also threatening that a person could actually have a following out of a tent, because that really goes against the ironically, you see the Star of David is also, if you look at a cube on the side, so the Saturn hexagram and Mecca. So ironically, you see all three of the Abrahamic religions have suffered from this, heritage of actually the Egyptians before them, and which is the monotheism. And so, but the Gnostic teachings I give, and many others here, is that maybe a lot of them are Jewish, is that, we're all one, but the Christ is within all of us. So, again, some of my favorite filmmakers, and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou comes to mind. I'll never be able to achieve that level of cohesion and beautiful art, but I hope I can share some of my individual creations in my one-man band, since I moved to this place where people were willing to be wage slaves and are possessed by their narcissistic parasites in their ego, trying to live out their dreams, and they didn't have time to give me a chance, particularly since I don't drink alcohol. And so I hope you've enjoyed my one-man band, and I hope you've enjoyed my teachings, whether I continue doing this or not. I'm super thankful for this opportunity, and I give many, many thanks and blessings and one love and awareness of the Christ as much as possible to all beings.